Hello and welcome to a Sunday night edition of the Managing Madrid podcast. It is a very exciting episode coming your way because we're excited because Vinicius Jr. has put us on a high and he salvaged a game where Real Madrid were clawing and clinging and trying to impose their will and had trouble doing so. Their press was disjointed. They had a little bit of struggle defensively. Ancelotti himself said after the game that a draw would have been a fair result, and I think that's true. I think Sevilla, for large stretches of this game, were probably the better team, although we also had our moments, and really things kind of shifted after Carlo introduced a couple subs, which we'll get to. But the star of the show is Vinicius Jr., although I think it should not be forgotten that Courtois had another great game. Vinny Jr., kind of looks a little bit fatigued or gassed. I don't know, the last couple games, but a great sign and a sure sign of any superstar that when things aren't going your way, you can step up and just swing your balls around and dust two Sevilla defenders and score in the top right-hand corner in a late game winner, sending the entire Real Madrid fan base into delirium. And two of those fans are on this podcast tonight. So joining me, Kian Sobani, is Matt Wiltsey. Matt, how are you?
Hey, Kian. Yeah, I mean, that was it was Vinicius' moment. It was just that type of shot rifled into the upper 90, and I don't think we've seen that type of shot from him yet. Like where he just, yes, we've seen him score from outside the box, like a curl in, but just an absolute rip like that where it rifles into the upper 90. I'm trying to think back, and I can't think of a goal like that. And in that moment, 87th minute, dying minutes of the game, and he gets it done. I mean, that is what superstars do, and that is the difference. That is the level he is at now. He is not just a talent. He is a superstar. He is one of the best players in the world. End of, like, no other discussion. It's the way he's playing since the start of the season. He is one of the best players in the world. And that's just so gratifying to say because we've gone through the ups and downs with Vinicius, and this is part of the growing pains we'll go through with like a guy like Camavinga, for example, and just other youngsters that eventually come, and it'll be nice to always be able to reference the Vinicius example because that's fresh in the memory, and he's now it's incredible how rapid the just development has been in this season alone, and how he's taken that final leap into end production, scoring and assisting on goals. And so I'm so happy for him. I think that this is, to your point, Kian, like he wasn't playing that well. He had a tough game. Montiel was just all over him all match. I was just watching them like off the ball and things the ref wasn't even noticing. Like Montiel was just grabbing his shirt, grabbing his arms, like constantly trying to pester Vinicius, and to a large degree, like he and Koundé did really well to lock him down for large stretches of this match. But that one moment, that's all it takes for superstars, and that's the difference. And they give you 3 points in games you may not necessarily deserve to win. And I don't think we did deserve to win this, but Vinicius was the difference maker.
Well, the Montiel battle in itself, the fact that it's such a duel between those two, mostly because Montiel just was putting a body on him the whole time. I think you noted on Twitter the fouls, the physicality, the fact that he finally got booked. I think it was in the second half after multiple challenges on him and multiple fouls. It is fitting that Montiel was one of the two defenders that was dusted on that play, and Ocampos being the other one. So the fact that Militao, I mean, this is one of those assists that Militao has in his career. When he looks back and he's showing his grandchildren his assist collection. He's like, check this one out. I did not deserve an assist for this at all. I made a switch to the left. Nice pass. It was a fine ball. Usually it's just something, a routine pass. With one chest motion, he puts the ball into the direction that he wants to. With just like basically a great first touch to get himself into space. Ocampos is left for dead with that chest touch. And then the little shoulder drop to dust Montiel. And it just seemed like Vinicius found something in the moment there where he dug deep. He dug as deep as he could physically. And I actually thought about that too, because you brought up the point about the type of shot. Usually from that angle, he goes for the far post curler. And I actually wonder if, like, because if you think back to, like, the last few times he's been in that position this season, it's either been at the goalkeeper, he hasn't got enough bend on it, or he bends it too far. I wonder if that entered his mind. He's like, you know what? This hasn't been working. I'm just going to put my laces through it and just let it fly like a laser. It actually kind of reminded me of a Roberto Carlos shot, where Roberto Carlos actually has goals where he's cut in from the left side and shoots it with his right foot, and it just rises and rises into the roof of the net. So it was just a perfect end to. It had kind of actually gotten dull a little bit in the second half after a pretty entertaining first half, but oh man, what a moment! It felt like Vinicius had a lot of good moments this season. Would you say that that's been the peak of it so far? This is the peak of it. Has there been a better like Vinny moment this season? Even if you think back to those Shakhtar goals.
No, I think this is the peak of it, and it's funny because it's not in one of his best games, like far and away. This out of all the matches from this season, this is probably lower on the spectrum of just in terms of his overall performance. But the moment and how important the 3 points were. Sevilla would have gone top if they won this game. So this is the table clash. It was the 87th minute, deadlocked at 1-1, and he produces that moment. I think for sure that's been one of the. Not only is it his moment of the season, but I think it's been one of Real Madrid's moments of the season, if not maybe even the best so far.